Today's deck tech is brought to you by Clausen's Spicy Pickle Chips. Back again, doing a deck tech. This time it's going to be of a deck I posted about on Reddit. When I did, this guy Beeswax89 said, quote, "I'll be honest, that deck looks incredibly painful to play. It is very janky. I can't see it working at all. I like the idea of being creative on this game, but this deck is just bad." Well, we're gonna see how bad it is. So, it's called Grixis Husk Combo. And the combo is as such. Nantuko Husk can sacrifice creatures to get +2/+2. Whirler Rogue can tap the 2 artifacts that it casts, and any artifact that's available, to give another target creature unblockable. When you play Whirler Rogue with a Nantuko Husk out, you can give it unblockable, sack the Thopters, sack the Whirler Rogue, it becomes an 8/8 unblockable. If you have any amount of other creatures out there, you get 2 power for every single additional creature, and you just win. You do it when they're tapped out of mana, or you're pretty sure they can't get you. Almost every single thing makes Thopters, or tokens of some kind. Dragon Fodder. Abbot of Keral keeps just a good value card. Carrier Thrall dies and makes another guy, so you get, Carrier Thrall gives you 4 additional power. Dragon Fodder gives you 4 additional power. Eldrazi Skyspawner gives you 4 additional power. Thopter Engineer gives you 4 additional power. Whirler Rogue and Pia and Kiran Nalaar give you 6. We run Cruel Revival. It says destroy target non-zombie creature. It can't be regenerated. Return up to 1 target zombie card from your graveyard to your hand. Why are we running this? I'll tell you why. Nantuko Husk is a zombie insect, so if they kill all our Nantuko Husk, I want to be able to get one back. Read the Bones is just, sometimes you need to just find something, diversify your spells. Why is there 1 Gravedigger instead of a whole bunch? It's a zombie, just extra value, you just throw 1 in there. And Fleshbag Marauder, sometimes you gotta kill things that are like giant, and it's a zombie. And so that's it. You've got 3 zombies and a whole bunch of other stuff that does stuff. And you just try and make that combo happen, but it's got enough like tokens and Thopters that sometimes you just token and Thopter them. A lot of the times it'll get into a board state where you get to just get them with this combo though. I did a video before where I played 8 games, and the last game was with this deck, and I did combo out in that deck. I think the video is called My 8 Decks in Magic Duels BFZ era, or something like that. It's worth checking out the final game, just to see exactly how it works, but it might work again here. There's no black in this hand, and I usually don't like to play Abbot of Keral Keep right away. However, we're on the draw. We could do better, we could do worse. This is a medium hand. If our opponent is playing mono red, which I'm not convinced they are because they don't have a 1-drop yet, we will be doing pretty well with this Twin Bolt. This deck is really, really, really fun. There are combos, and when people say combos in Magic, people think infinite combos. This is not an infinite combo, but it is a combo. It requires 2 things that work together to win the game. It does not go infinite, but it damn near does. I actually don't want to play Abbot out here because it's just going to die to this Perilous Mer anyway, and I'd rather just like get some value out of it. It's going to do nothing at this point, so there are times where I played out on, you know, an empty board or something and get no value off its trigger, but this is not one of those occasions. And it just gets worse with this thing. Like, 1-3, just can't block it. But we will kill these things. Because against Thopters, you just have to limit the amount of times you're getting hit by Thopters. And you gotta take your chance to get artifacts when they're at 1 toughness, because if they play Chief of the Foundry, you don't get to do what you want to do, basically. We will try this Abbot here. It's likely to die, but maybe not. They may just play out a Whirler Rogue or a Pia and Kiran or something. We got another Abbot. It's a sad state of affairs, but what are you gonna do? I'll often have board states with this particular deck where I don't need to play Abbot out until much, much later in the game. Alright, so he's probably got like a Whirler Rogue or something here, or else he wouldn't make this attack for 1 damage. Alright, well, I don't know what I'm talking about. He may have a counterspell, I guess. It's possible. I don't like to get my Nantuko Husk or Whirler Rogue countered, because this is the combo. I think I'll just read the bones, get this prowess trigger. These are both good. I care much less about Pia and Kiran getting counterspelled. People just like the counterspell rares anyway. It makes them feel good. It is way less important than Whirler Rogue. Generally, I don't like to play Nantuko Husk out without, like, multiple ways to sacrifice things and make it bigger. I call it Husk food. Alright, that's funny. I didn't expect that. People love this Infectious Bloodlust thing. I mean, it's good when it resolves and stuff, but I do think that it's better in mono red, or if you have like Welkin turn flyers or something. I think we're gonna just... We don't need this Husk out yet. We're slightly up against it here, but not terribly. It's mainly just that we're lower on health, and that's it. But there will be a point where once Nantuko Husk is safely on board, our opponent is live to die at any moment. They'll probably give this thing unblockable and get their 3 damage in, which, I mean, it sucks, but... Oh, well, alright. I am a little conflicted. You always gotta count what you got, so if I traded these 2 things, Husk would be able to eat this and this, that's 6, so 10. We're a little behind. Unfortunate, but we're just gonna do it. I think the move here is gonna be Husk plus this burn spell. It would be better to kill these Thopters, but we're hoping that by the time he cracks those Thopters, we don't care. We can just Whirler Rogue our guy in. Hopefully he'll just crack it next turn so he can get at us for 5. If you do the math right here, this is 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. He is dead if he taps out. So hopefully he'll just crack this and we can just win. Whirler Rogue, that's as good as us winning, so... He would have to have... I don't think there's actually anything that he could have to win. Because even if he has a burn spell for Nantuko Husk, we can sack in response and then still play and still have 10, even if it's not 12. We're going to take all of this. This was a pretty straightforward game. We got ourselves in a little bit of a race, and it was perfectly fine. When you're facing a potential fiery impulse, it is very important that you sack one thing and let it resolve to 4. He's not done it, so he's officially a 4, and now we can just go. And he left when he realized what occurred, and there it is. We did the combo. We did it. And it's that simple. The deck is not bad. It surprises people. It often feels like it's behind, but a lot of the reason why is because you're usually making decisions you wouldn't normally make in other decks where you didn't have like this live combo in your hand like we did. You know, there are occasions with this deck where you don't have Husk and Whirler Rogue because there's only 7 of those cards in the deck, and you need both of them for that to happen. Sometimes you can just sacrifice stuff to Nantuko Husk without Whirler Rogue and still be threatening. A lot of that, you just end up hitting people with little Thopters enough times, and you're good to go. But it's mainly about surprise. Like, Nantuko Husk is so threatening when you have so many things out that people just won't attack. They won't attack with everything. So you'll slow down their offensive plan, and it'll buy you so many draws till you get exactly what you want. There's way too many lands here. There's not enough lands here, but we do have all 3 colors, so we'll try it. We just need a land to get a Thopter Engineer on board, and we do have a turn 2 play, so this is not that bad. We don't have the pieces of the combo, but you don't win every game with that combo. Even though there's double red, I usually just get double blue because Whirler Rogue is more important. This deck actually has a ton of black in it, but it's all single color black. So unless they Manwolvi Acid Moss black, which you always have to consider, it's not a big deal. I just do want to point out, you know, before I get too, like, super stoked about us winning this game, our opponent's playing, like, a 70-card deck here, which is kind of noob status, but it is late at night. So, I mean, that happens late at night. You go against people who are not great. But, I've lost to 100-card singleton decks. Like, people try and play weird commander on here against us, and I've lost randomly to good draws, so who knows. Evolutionary Elite used to be pretty much the best card in this game. It's still annoying, but it's not nearly as good as it was before BFZ came out for some reason. I can't actually explain why. It doesn't really make sense, because it just seems so good all the time. But I did play a lot of Control. I played Abzan Control a lot. The best deck before BFZ was Thopters. That's actually another reason why this Nantuko Husk deck works, is because it's basically a Thopters deck, except instead of caring so much about artifacts, like a lot of these Thopter decks do, where they get Chief of the Foundry and all that stuff, it just has this, like, some kill spells and this combo instead. In this situation, I am slightly worried about a board wipe, but I play the Thopter Engineer into a counterspell or a board wipe anyway, just because, even though he probably has Languish, like, we do have a Gravedigger and a Cruel Revival to get Gravedigger, like, we can still do a lot of stuff. And I do want to get him as low as possible. It's debatable as to whether it was worth keeping back a Thopter Engineer, but we're going for it this time. I don't have the exact numbers on, like, if I for sure knew he had a Languish, or if I had thought 50% chance he had a Languish, where the percentage is, if I should play it or not. Gut feeling, well, I mean, he left, so my guess is he was just not able to Languish in time. And, I mean, he didn't know how to build his deck. You don't want to have more than 60 cards. 4 color, I mean, whatever he's doing, it was not working this game, and as a result, super loss coming for our opponent. But at least it's a quick one. We get into one more game, see if we can combo again. want either of these, just to finish off. We got a Dragon Fodder anyway. If it's a board wipe, it's a little lame, but not a big deal. Not a board wipe. Game is over. I mean, despite what Beeswax89 said about this deck being just bad and janky, they were right in one sense. The mana is actually a little bit janky. You know, not very many people are using these Guildgates anymore, and I don't in most of the decks. In fact, this is one of the only ones where I actually have a couple Guildgates. For some reason, when I was looking at the mana, it just didn't line up where I had enough sources for the things I needed to cast without them. I think part of that is, like, you know, I play Bant, which is white, green, blue, and there's, like, the green-blue manland. And, you know, it's the same thing if you have the black-white manland in things that are 3-color with black-white, whether it's black-white-green or, you know, black-white-blue Esper, you know, I mean, that helps a little just to have those manlands instead, because they are way, way better than these Guildgates. They're just Guildgates with upside, and, like, a massive amount of upside. Certain decks I have just won completely with manland damage when they're controlling enough. And these Guildgates are pretty slow. Husk with no Husk food is bad, but we have all 3 colors, so we're just gonna try it. Really hoping to draw pretty much any amount of token making for this Husk. Blue, play nothing. I don't really have a guess yet. Usually that means blue-black, but could mean any. Oops. That was bad. Okay, he knows we got a Twin Bolt. 1 Twin Bolt. A single Twin Bolt. That's all we got. So, yeah. Unfortunate that when you flash that, they actually do get to see what you intended to play. And, or mistakenly didn't play. But that was my bad. Once again, the Husk is so important. Like, I'm actually afraid of that 2-mana counterspell. I'm no longer afraid of that 2-mana counterspell at all. It's worth noting, though, you know, when you have a combo, you need to protect the combo. People do need to cast spells to win games, and of course the hardest games for us to win are, like, you know, when you go against my other type of tempo decks where you can flash in a creature or counterspell. Like, those, it takes a really long time to get your stuff online because you have to be too careful, and sometimes you just get behind being careful. Like, it's a little bit awkward. Those matchups are a little hard. Alchemist Vial is usually a sign that we're playing against, like, you know, fog, tutelage type stuff. You know, which this Fleshbag Marauder is not going to be very good at beating, but these Twin Bolts getting a little extra reach if we can get them low is nice. Yeah, he's gonna let this happen. Because he left the green up. I think what that pause meant is he considered making it so he couldn't attack, but if we sacrifice things, he would have felt comfortable fogging, and then we just killed 2 of our guys for no reason. So we basically want to just make him use fogs on his own accord. You just gotta be careful. You gotta know. It's always actually a good game. It's like almost a good habit to just think about and guess, actively guess what you think your opponent is gonna play. Like, especially in the worst case scenario. We'll just keep hitting him for 4 until he bucks us. We only have to do 6 more damage after this, and then we got him. These Twin Bolts. He left the fog up again, so it's just a guarantee that he has a fog. I would love for him to... yeah, I mean, that's okay. We only need to do 6 more damage. It's not worth sacking these guys to try and do the 6 right now, even though that would win. Still better to just do the 4. Sphinx's Tutelage decks, I have one. It doesn't win. It wins half the time. It's really fun. These other people, I don't like to use Fog. I know that Turbo Fog's a thing. I don't like to use it. Mine just draws and kills things, and I'm perfectly content with that. I'll try a Cruel Revival because we can get this other Husk. He'll probably Fog this time, because he is dead to sacking. I'm not gonna sack. That's, yeah. Still, he has the green mana open, still not worth fogging. Or not worth sacking in the face of this fog. I feel like the reason he paused here is because he thought I might go for it, but not for 2 damage am I going to do that. It's just better to be, like, he's not killing us. He has barely more cards in his library than us. His game plan is not currently happening. We definitely do not need much to happen. We just need 2 damage, and that's it. The combo's not really going to happen, regardless, it seems, because that fog is just too much of a factor. It's usually... When you build a combo deck, you know, in like a real constructed format, like in Paper Magic, usually you want to go as far into that combo as you can. Just go full bore into the combo. But in this, you kind of need to attack from multiple different axes because there's just not enough cards available. I'm going to do something weird and just attack with one. I'm just going to attack with these 2 guys and just see if he... Okay, so he fogged anyway. Made no difference. We are actually pretty vulnerable to losing because he now has 2 of these Sphinx's Tutelages on board. We really need to do 2 damage. I mean, it doesn't seem like that much, but we really need to do 2 damage and nothing more. And we just don't have it right now. And he's going to be able to draw a lot of cards. He's got 6 cards in hand and 2 Tutelages. That's like, that could be 2 draw spells right this second. Easily find fogs over and over and over again. I felt like this game was definitely 100% in hand prior to the second tutelage, but it's a little more tenuous now. You got no spells off that Talon of the Telepath, so... Not that it would have mattered, but... Let's just try these guys. Fog. Fog is a bad card. I know that it serves its purpose in the tutelage deck, and we may actually lose to it here. We're gonna try and find another burn spell. I just want burn now. I'd say we're 1 fog away from losing this game. One of our Twin Bolts is in the graveyard. Part the Water Veil. I might have lost us the game. I feel like he wouldn't part the Water Veil unless he basically had the kill in his hand. or he's desperate to find another fog, which is reasonably possible. We're okay against Tutelage, usually 3 colors, but sometimes they get there, and they're pretty close to getting there. Displacement wave. That may well have lost us this game. I'm actually reasonably positive that it did. I'm not really seeing how we're going to be able to do 2 damage without just ripping a Twin Bolt right off the top. Yeah, this game has ended. Unless we draw exactly our last Twin Bolt, we have lost. Yep, so Tutelage got there because he can play a Talent of the Telepath, or he can play a Tutelage and then all he has to do is just activate it. He has so much land, so we've lost, but it was worth a shot, and I thought we would get there, but we didn't. But you got to see it go off in game 1. I mean, you can see that this deck does work. We came across some silliness in this particular game. Yeah, he draws, we lose, so that's it. It was a shorter deck tech than before, so we'll just call it here, and till next time. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe. Blah. Fucking self-promotion, man. It's garbage.